I say peace and benedictions. Peace, family. Man, I keep telling y'all. I've been prepping y'all for this shit for 13 days. You know what I'm saying? Telling you about the beltane rituals. You know what I'm saying? You know, go check the news. Go check my previous streams. Check my YouTube channel. Check my BitChute, my Rumble. You know, because some of them videos they banned from YouTube. You know what I mean? Check my Twitter page. You know what I mean? I've been reporting about the stories. You know, the unexplained fires, the unexplained deaths. You know, shit like this. You know, so of course we know about this story being confirmed yesterday that the brother Kevin Samuels at best has disappeared. You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of times we fast and loose with the news. Like everybody jumped out the window, retweeted, reposted, you know, talking heads, gave their take and all this shit. And we don't even know what the fuck is really going on. You know what I'm saying? People talking about um, divine feminine energy took him out. You know, all kind of shit like that. You know what I mean? So let's get into this shit. So they saying right here that this was on 5/5. You know what I'm saying? So the brother is supposed to have passed or something happened to him on 5/5. You know what I mean? Which 11 times 5 is 55. So keep that in mind. You know what I'm saying? And it was the Beltane. It was Beltane sacrifice. So they say the people this story broke. The story initially broke on Source. You know what I'm saying? A hip hop site. So, you know, that's kind of like undermining this dude work. You know what I mean? He's a professional. And when you think about other people that pass away, usually they tell you that shit from the rip. You know what I mean? They go right in and be like, you know, this person has died, you know, all this kind of shit. You know what I mean? So they threw the story out there to try to allude to, you know, what could be going on. You know what I mean? And the story broke on, you know, Source. You know what I mean? And they said unverified source media. You know what I mean? News source. You know, basically. So you know, let me get this off the screen real quick because we don't need that. That's taking up real estate real quick. So you see, right here, this story was confirmed on 5/6 that he was dead at 56. You know, see how they play with the numbers. Not a coincidence. You know what I'm saying? So they break the story. Now, when I first heard about this shit, you know, I didn't jump right on it like everybody else because, you know, I was thinking that this dude was going to play, he was playing possum and, you know, he was going to pop up and be like, you know, on his live or whatever, you know, another way to get a whole bunch of views and shit. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, obviously that didn't happen. And, you know, when the story started buzzing, my man told me about it. Shout out to Pope and ENT. We just did a stream. I was trying to connect the Instagram, but it wasn't working. So I just this basically the Instagram version. You know what I mean? So you know, he when he told me about the shit, now I already knew about it. And I was like, all right, well, we'll see when the story confirmed. If the story is real, it'll be confirmed on the 6th. And sure enough, it was confirmed on the 6th. Now, if y'all familiar with previous work that I did, you know, I know my old page got deleted, you know, but last year on Beltane, they did a ritual sacrifice with Sam Lloyd, the boy from Scrubs. You know, they had an episode, you know, contributed to the whole Blowvid situation. You know, I did a video on that. He died at 56. So when I seen that, you know, Brother Samuels, you know, has allegedly passed at 56, you know, I automatically knew it was Beltane sacrifice. So that's why I knew that they would confirm the story on the 6th, which is the last day of Beltane. You know what I'm saying? So sure enough, you know, these things started to float all around. People start making they views, they little posts and all that, reposting and all that. Now they was doing that fast, you know, like I said, fast and loose with the news. You know, it started trending on Twitter. You know what I'm saying? So Now you see right here it says now this was on the 6th. That says that this YouTube personality has died, confirmed by his mom. Right now, I want to talk about this right here. They're saying that his mom confirmed that he died. Right now, when this shit initially happened, right? People were saying, you know, people were saying like, yo, this dude dead, and people said they had the confirmation or whatever. You know what I'm saying? So, the for we all know how this whole shit got go. Like, if you ever had a loved one that passed in the hospital, you already know how this shit go. You know what I mean? So when somebody passed, somebody died, whatever, you know, they they notify the next of kin, especially when somebody go to the hospital. When somebody go to the hospital, you know, nobody is allowed in there, except for, family or medical personnel. You know what I'm saying? Now, of course, we heard the story that, he was with a girl, you know what I'm saying? They said he was with a girl and some woman that he had just met, One story said he was with a 19-year-old girl, another story said he was with a 32-year-old woman. So it's like they try to like smear him with the 19-year-old girl. And we did like a little YouTube video about, is it is it bad for a 56-year-old man to date a 19-year-old girl? You can check that out on YouTube. You know what I'm saying? People all on social media, they took to the John talking all this nonsense, about how divine feminine energy killed this brother. And like, I was very livid about this, because all of this fluff about divine feminine energy and this divested witchcraft and all this nonsense, it's like I responded to this shit, right? And I wrote like, well, why y'all not taking out the real enemy? You know what I'm saying? Why divine witchcraft and divine feminine energy allow slavery and all the persecution and systematic racism of black people to happen? You know, so with your divine energy, right? Why you ain't try to heal the world and stop racism and stop famine and hunger and shit like that? You use your divine energy to knock off another brother. You know what I'm saying? That shit don't even make sense. Like, like what good is that doing for humanity, for society? You know what I'm saying? It's ridiculous, So, you see all these people in here talking all crazy, you know what I'm saying? Smearing the brother, laughing, thumbs up and shit like that. And it's like, the young boys, they got that drill rap music. They got the campaign where they say, they smoking on their ops. You know what I'm saying? They smoking their dead ops and shit like that, right? And the term actually started from a good thing, but it was taken and weaponized. You know what I mean? So it's the irony is that, people, the underlying story here is that a lot of people are hypocrites, because if it was your family member smoking on the ops and all that shit like that, I contribute this for all the people that's like making fun of, a brother's untimely passing, despite the fact that this brother got a family, a mother, sister, uncle, whoever, you know what I'm saying, that would be grieving right now, and y'all like shitting on those people, like laughing at the possibility that this man is no longer with us. You know what I mean? I offer this. When y'all post y'all videos and y'all tributes to Man Man and Tom and Quadir and Big Mama and all the other people that is going to pass in the future, right? How about we drag your family members? How about we toast a glass to your family members when they pass away? A lot of y'all people is like in this whole social media world, y'all lost your humanity. Y'all making fun of people dying. Y'all crazy. But if somebody making fun of your family member, because everybody like to take the social media about every damn thing. So, well, if somebody in your family member died and you post up and say, "See you on the other side, Big Mama," how about somebody hop in your comment section and say, "Fuck your Big Mama"? You know what I'm saying? How about somebody coming and repost a picture of your big mama and laugh and say, yeah, good riddance, or and all that other shit. Don't do that, yo. If that kind of thing offends you, if that disrupt, if that's something that rubs you the wrong way, then don't be out here doing that kind of shit because you're a hypocrite. You know what I'm saying? Because best and believe there should be a task force on cue that should be dragging all y'all loved ones when they pass. All y'all people that try to drag somebody else's loved one when they pass. Whatever your feelings is about about that man is one thing, but when it comes to somebody dying, that's a whole nother. I mean, that's a whole nother level. You know what I'm saying? And there's people that love that man, and y'all making fun of that shit. Like, come on, man, that's ridiculous, yo. Don't do that. Don't do that. And if you do that, then have that same energy, have that same funny energy, have all these same emojis when we start dragging your family members. You know what I'm saying? You know, so, they said this dude, of course they try to say he was a misogynist, he's controversial and, all of that shit, and now that he's not available to defend himself, you know what I'm saying? They can, paint him how he wants to. And just like how my homie was saying, it's like, you can't let nobody tell your story. You know, his videos will live in infamy, and his videos will tell his story, you know what I mean? And the people that he helped will tell his story. It's not a coincidence that, a brother who is trying to help bring awareness to a global reset and a financial crisis, helping women to understand that you need to build and develop relationships with your male counterparts in your race, that he just get taken out, by some woman who was a nurse that they say. You know what I'm saying? Like it's kind of suspect, man. You know, kind of suspect, man. But they saying that he oh, we get into that in a minute. Hold on. They saying that he damn, I just going all the wrong way. They saying that he was with a nurse. You know what I'm saying? Right? So I had this video from DJ Academics that I'm gonna throw up here. I got this little clip right here that I got that is some conflicting evidence right here. You know what I'm saying? So remember they said that the story broke on the news and his mom got the news from social media. She found out on the news that her son passed away. Now, like I said, regular protocol when somebody go to the hospital, you notify their family. Family is only in allowed in the emergency room. You got to call the family. So even if this girl was with somebody, she already know, especially if she's a nurse, she know protocol. You know what I'm saying? So let's go into this DJ Academics video real quick. You know what I mean?
Male as Mr. Kevin Samuels. Mrs. Alcantara stated that she met Mr. Samuels last night, came to his apartment, spent the night with him, and she said that in the early morning he complained of chest pains and she attempted to help him. But
Highlight that right there, chest pains. You know what I'm saying?
he fell on top of her and proceeded to notify 911. Okay, she said she requested that the 911 operator contact the front desk for a defibrillator to keep Mr. Samuels responsive until Grady arrived because she is a nurse. Grady bus, blah, blah, blah. Later transported him to Piedmont.
Now you see how he said Grady bus, blah blah blah. What it says right there is Grady bus 741. You know what I'm saying? So these numbers always are significant. You know what I'm saying? Just like in the Brooklyn subway shooting at the 36th Street station, and the numbers on the side of the train was 5551. You know what I mean? Which can be looked at as 666. Which can be looked at as the law of attraction, the 55 five times. You know what I'm saying? Also with the connection with the brother being 5'5". They said he shot 10 people, and wounded, critically injured 5 people. See what I'm saying? So, they play with these same numbers in front of your face all the time. So just keep a marker around that 74. You know what I mean? That's what's right there on the drawing. We'll blow it up later if you can't see it. But the bus marker is 74-1.
Hospital and that's the ambulance name, I believe. Anyway, this is pretty much just confirmation. Kevin Samuels passed away. We have no idea why it was so sudden. Apparently, the woman tried to help. We're not sure of his health condition, even though he looks like he was in pretty decent shape for a guy of his age.
Now, the night that he was on there, he had the girl on the she was in the background. She didn't want to get on camera. He had a drink. He was in typical Kevin Samuels fashion. You know what I'm saying? Typical Godfather fashion. And just on a side note, the whole YouTube streets is buzzing right now because the king is missing. So everybody's trying to converge on the throne. Everybody wants to be the next Kevin Samuels. Not necessarily Kevin Samuels in a sense, but they want to sit in the driver's seat of the YouTube manosphere and all of that shit. You know what I mean? So the integrity is boiling amongst the content creators to try to get to where he is. You know what I mean? To be the next him. But I'm gonna scale back in this video a little bit because they say the age of the woman. You know what I'm saying? Now this is according to the police report. So whoever was saying that it was 19 years old was bullshit. But then you hear what he say about this pretty much confirms that he passed away. Well, pretty much is not definitely, it's not fully. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of times, again, we take authority as truth rather than truth as authority. So these people can just say things to us, write whatever in the police report, and just give it to us. You know what I mean? Now it's strange because I find it ironic where a lot of people, family members that I know personally, that when they get the police report, and things don't look right, we want a thorough investigation. We want a second opinion. You know, think about it. Private eyes, private investigators wouldn't exist if we could trust the official story. We can't trust the 9/11 official story. So, the official story is repugnant to say the least. You know what I'm saying? So I'm gonna scale back right here, and then I'll finish that video. We'll go back into it. All right.
Last video. So if you didn't see the last video, go watch the last video because this is pretty much proving everything I said then to be true. Okay? Now, Mr. Kevin Samuels basically met a woman yesterday for the first time. Okay? She's about like 32. Okay? He's 57, right? They spent the night together. And after that, the Atlanta Police Department, okay, they filed chest pains. Now I'm going to read the narrative, and it's pretty much going to confirm most of this stuff. And pretty much he started feeling chest pains. Okay? He's 57, right?
All right, I had to pause it right there. Excuse my fingers. But but you see how they said that he's 57? You know what I'm saying? But we seen on the all broadcasted all everywhere that they said he was 56. Now this happens. This has happened a litany of times. This happened with Fred the Godson. They release one age and then they come back with a different age. But see, the reason why that happens is because the ages that they release are always correlate with some type of number system. You know what I'm saying? With like I said, the Beltane connection with 56. You know what I mean? So today, Saturday, is 7/57. So which is quite fitting, for me addressing this. Honestly, I've been going through a lot of crazy shit, bullshit, and I ain't even really been able to create how I want to, because times is rough. Times is really rough. So that's why it's like, there's an appreciation for a donation. You know what I'm saying? And we trying to get this to a business, provide a service to the people, and not just rape the people for money and put it in our pocket to finance a lifestyle of bullshit. Not never was into that. You know what I'm saying? That's why I pay money to come out here and produce the type of content the way that I want to and the way that I see fit. To help the people, to be of service. You know what I'm saying? So back to this shit. They say that the woman was 32 years old, right? So let's let it roll a little bit, and then we're gonna continue on.
They spent the night together, and after that, the next morning, he woke up and pretty much he started feeling chest pains. Now I'm going to read the narrative, and it's pretty much going to confirm most of this stuff. I also have to add, the woman, okay, from what I've heard, and shout out to Fee, the woman is a nurse. So the woman was trying to do CPR and some other things to try to, make sure he could stay alive because apparently he was breathing at first. However, it
Now, they say that the woman was a nurse. Now, like the good brother Umar was saying, could this have been a hit? Could this have been the screw job had been in? You know what I'm saying? Now, this woman that he just met, right, on some Cointel type time, right, who just so happened to be a nurse, and he just so happened to start having chest pains after a night with this woman. You know what I'm saying? A man who seems to be in perfectly good health, who educates brothers about taking care of themselves. And one of those things would be being in good health, staying in good shape, right? So brothers, you always see him, well dressed, well groomed. You know what I'm saying? Fingernails clean, all that. Person who's definitely aware of himself, health conscious. So it's safe to assume, or rather assert, that the man had a good bill of health. So for him to just up and have heart or chest complications, it can even be from going to the Poconos. You know what I'm saying? Going to the Poconos and being mandated to go to the Poconos, or being scared and seeking refuge in the Poconos. It could be from that. You know, it could be a little MKD. You know what I'm saying? It could be some of that little MCD. You know what I mean? I would say, my fault. It could be a little MCD. But who knows? You know what I mean? But I guess the people who do the autopsy would be able to figure that out. You know what I mean? If there is an autopsy, maybe the same person that do the autopsy will be the same person who did Jeffrey Epstein autopsy. Maybe they'll give us that one again. You know what I mean? But basically, they saying that this brother had chest pains. And it just so happened that he was with a nurse. Now the thing is that, all right, the nurse knows protocol. She knows nurse protocol. Facts. We know this, right? So she knows what to do, obviously. So they saying she did CPR. That was to no avail. They called emergency. So it's safe to assume that she went and rolled with him to the hospital, and she had clearance to get into the emergency room because she's a nurse. Now anybody else wouldn't have clearance. If she was just some regular, cheap floozy hot girl, whatever, she wouldn't have been able to get into the back there in the emergency room. She would have been told that she has to call a family member, and a family member would only be able to go and see them. You know what I'm saying? So because the girl is a nurse, she already knows the protocol. So she already knows to contact the family. Whether you're a civilian or you're a person of service, you know to contact the next of kin, the family. You know what I mean? So I want to play this clip right here that this girl posted. I'm not quite sure who this woman is, but I guess she's a YouTuber. And just listen to what she say, and then I'll give my
Is
analysis.
there any way possible that this is not asked? Is there any way possible that this is not true?
No,
This is
I have
100%
family confirmation.
okay.
I got family
Well,
confirmation. This is 100%. The funeral most likely is going to be in Oklahoma City. I got family confirmation.
okay.
Now you see that, right? Now that was on 5/5, right? This was before the news confirmed that he died. This is why she was saying, because people was asking, is this real? And she said, no, I got family confirmation. Now, mind you, now mark that she said that she has family confirmation, right? She got family confirmation. All right, so let's keep a highlight on that. Let's see what we can snatch out of this other video. You know what I'm saying? Now, people got the police report, but they still can't put the shit together. You know what I mean? So, but that's my job. You know what I'm saying? So let's see what else was going on here.
contact the front desk for a defibrillator. Hey, who knows if he
So
drank, smoke? I don't know if he
so they put him on they said they put him on a defibrillator. You know what I'm saying? Which is another evasive
sure of
technique.
his
You know what I'm
health
saying?
condition, even though he looks like he was in pretty decent shape for a guy of his age. However, we do got to put some factors in. He works very frequently. He streams about like maybe like 4 or 5 nights out of the week. You know what I mean? Clearly, it was entertaining women.
Yeah. Streaming is dangerous, right? Yeah, streaming is bad for your health. Come on, man. Like again, these people, they not factoring in the elephant in the room. A lot of people, ran to the Poconos. A lot of people was mandated to the Poconos. So they coming back with all kind of weird shit happening to them, chest pains and shit, and becoming Magneto and shit, getting superpowers, turning into X-Men and shit. You know what I mean? And it's not funny because this is a serious thing, and it's like really causing the people a litany of issues, in regards to their, a decline in their health. So it's not really funny, but you know what I mean? We try to make light of these things to try to make it more palatable, like the good brother Khalid said, make it easier to get down. You know what I mean? But the reality of the thing is that, a lot of people, have severely impacted their health and their immune system, and are susceptible to, all kind of shit, from going to the Poconos. You know what I mean? Poconos is a dangerous place to be at. I wouldn't recommend anybody to go there. You know what I mean? So don't go there. But anyway, this pretty much he just talking fluff in this video. So I'm gonna snatch that down. And so I'm gonna go back to this slide right here. You know what I mean? Now it says that there was rumors of his death circulating on social media Thursday night, right? So you see, this is on the 6th, right? So they start confirming his death on the 6th. Now, this girl who was just talking, that shit was on the 5th. All right, now let's go backwards before I get into the gematria issue. So I wanna pull up where his mom, I think it was earlier in the slide. Let's go back. They said his mom confirmed by his mother, right? So his mom was saying that she found out the news online, right? So, if for the sake of the slide, and just to cross reference me, you can go find and go search on your own to see where the mother said she found out that her son passed away, allegedly passed away, and she didn't know about it, and the only way she first heard about it online. You know what I'm saying? That's what she said. That's what the mother said. So I gotta ask this question. For that girl who said that she got the information from the family, what family member did she get that from? You know what I'm saying? What family member did she get that information from, guys? We gotta look at this. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to get my logo up there. I'm trying to brand myself. You know what I'm saying? You know what it is. But um, we got to look at this. You know, and I should have had that up there for the using that brother's video. I don't own his content, by the way. Shout out to academics, for doing his due diligence, and I just take it from here. But we got to look at this thing. So I'm gonna dig into some gematria in 1 second. You know what I mean? But we know the protocol. The girl knows the protocol. So how is it that the mom can say that she found out online? Now, what family member did that girl who video clip I just showed? And for the sake of the shit, we can show it again.
Is there any way possible that this is not asked? Is there any way possible that this is not true?
No,
This is
I have
100%
family confirmation.
okay.
I got family
Well,
confirmation. This is 100%. The funeral most likely is going to be in Oklahoma City. I got family confirmation.
okay.
So she got family confirmation. So what family member did she get it from? Now I recorded that video. I screenshotted that video on Thursday night, or somewhere in the wee hours of the Friday morning or something like that. You know what I'm saying? This is before they confirmed it on Friday. You know what I'm saying? But mom says she found out from online. So what family member would take to Twitter, would take to YouTube, would take to the media, but wouldn't tell mom. We got to look at this. You know what I'm saying? So I want to go into some gematria. You know what I'm saying? You know, and that's another thing to look at too, right there. So says mom died. Mom says he died. You know, for 1.4 million subscribers. You know, that's another thing to look at. You know, 14 in the 41. You know, he could have died from the Blovid shit. Now I did a lot of showing a lot of truth about how this 41 is connected to this Blovid shit. You know, it's just like with the Queen's birthday that kicked off the beltane shit. They gave a 41 gun salute. You know what I'm saying? So let's go into some shit. You know, these people talking nonsense. So all right, boom. So they said he had an issue with his chest, right? So chest in gematria equals 55. You know what I'm saying? And it equals 19. You know, so they said he was with a 19-year-old girl. You know, brother had an issue with his chest. You know what I'm saying? So we're gonna dig deeper. That's just riding. We just riding the surface. Chest pains. You know what I mean? So earlier I was saying how it was close to the 114th day of the year. It's actually the 124th day of the year that this happened. You know what I mean? Which also can be viewed as 42. You know what I mean? A stamp that's put on black people. 24, 42, Kobe Bryant. You know what I'm saying? We've seen a lot of that issue. You know, that same number 42 being used in a litany of areas. You know, Jackie Robinson. You know, Martin's apartment number. You know, bus boy. You know, nigger. Martin, Malcolm, you know what I'm saying? Moses Walker, all these things equals 42. You know, the 42 laws are, this is how they get down. You know what I mean? So, this is the shit that they do. You know what I mean? So, chest pains, with the 114. The connection with that is actually Meek Mill's birthday. Meek Mill's birthday is 5/6, the 6, you know what I'm saying? So I did a video earlier in a week. Well, it's an old video from when Meek got out of jail, but Meek was released from jail on the 114th day of the year. You know what I'm saying? And 100 and the 114. We'll cover that. You know what I'm saying? And we can cover that. And of course, just with the connection of the 1.4 million subscribers. We got the 14. 1 times 14 is obviously 14. So that's another connection right there. But a very mundane connection. But we're gonna dig deeper. Also 56. 156. 1 times 56, obviously 56. So they said the brother was 56. You know what I'm saying? And also 57. Today is May 7th, 5/7. They said the brother was 56, then they said he was 57. Which one is it? You know what I mean? But either way, you see how these numbers connect. You know what I'm saying? So, all right, so here we go again with the bullshit. There we go again with the bullshit. All right. Chest pains is another number that I wanted to highlight here. 55. You know what I'm saying? So 55, you know, May 5th, 55, 5/5, Cinco de Mayo, you know what I mean? 36, right? 36, one, was it 361, 36, 3/6s, devil talk, that's how these people do, you know what I'm saying? 1 times 36 is obviously 36, 43, you know what I mean? Kevin Samuels equals 43, which I'll show later in the slide, you know what I mean? 38, murder equals 38 equals is a reference to murder. You know what I mean? 311 is dishonest. You know what I mean? So just like how you got the information number for 311, you know what I'm saying? Bava Kamal 113A says, that basically describes that Jews may lie to people that are not Jewish. You know what I'm saying? So they don't have to tell you the truth. You know what I'm saying? So dishonest equals 311. You know what I mean? You see 506 up there. 50, the zero is obsolete. You know what I mean? 56, again, connecting with the brother's number. You know what I mean? Name. You got 440, zero again, zero, obsolete, 44. That's the kill number. I've covered that a couple times. How, they got that how that's the kill number. You know what I'm saying? And they use that all the time in reference to killing, shooting. You know what I mean? Just like on 4-4, you know, where I did that videos. They killed 2 young boys in that same day. You know what I'm saying? With the 4-4 shit. You know what I mean? You know, 4-4 ritual type shit. You know, so you know, all these shits just pop out, man, because I've been just doing this work over and over again. You know, and of course 42. You know, the negative stamp on black people. You know what I mean? So, you know, this is all just with chest pains. So they saying that this brother had chest pains. You know what I mean? This is how the story all start to come together. You know, they said he died from basically cardiac arrest, you know. So cardiac arrest equals 57. They said he was 57, right? You know what I'm saying? It also equals 56. They said he was 56, you know. So all of these things they come together, man. They come together, you know. Come to what they say, come together like butt cheeks. You know what I'm saying? But you know, they get they rituals on. That's why they tell you this shit in the stories, man. That's why they give you these details. So you see Kevin Samuels equals 43. And it also equals 61. Now let me go back real quick because I think I did see that 61 up there. Yes, I did. So cardiac arrest equals 61 in gematria, right? Kevin Samuels equals 61 in gematria. You know what I mean? It also equals 57, right? So they said he was they said he was 56, you know, 571 in satanic gematria, right? So one take away 57 equals 56. So they got it coming and going either way. You know, his name in gematria also equals 44, you know, the kill number, you know what I'm saying? 64, like 64 squares on the chessboard, you know what I mean? And you see 171. Now that's a loose connection with beltane. You know what I mean? Because beltane equals 117, and this in Kevin Samuels equals 171. You know, so that's a loose connection right there that we will exploit in a minute. You know what I'm saying? So even when you put the whole 11 situation in there, you know, a lot of these times these people like to play with the 11, the one and the one. You know, you see, he got the 110. You know, zero is obsolete there. You know what I mean? So you see these connections start to build up. You know, as we go through this slide. So um, I want to show this connection right here. Now, remember I told you about the 74. You see how his name equals 74, right? And also equals 147, right? Now, remember the bus that came and got him was bus 741. So Kevin Samuels equals 174, and the 741 bus came and picked him up. Now remember I told you, you know, see the 47 and the 74 is the inverse of each other. And he's like this there's always been the 74 versus the 47, if you get what I'm saying. You know, same people. You know what I mean? So you know, one times 74 times one is 74, you know, so same numbers, you know what I mean? So you know, it's not a how many times is a coincidence possible for it's mathematically impossible, you know? Come on, man. So you know what I mean, they just playing with the same numbers over and over with you, you know. So now we here at beltane, right? So beltane equals 59, right? And it also equals 117, like I said, right? Now 2 and 5 is 25 is the 7. So we see a sacrifice. You know what I'm saying? Beltane also equals 56, like how you see right here. And Jewish ordinal. You know what I mean? So brother died at 56, Beltane equals to 56, and that was the first thing that I noticed about this shit. Beltane also equals 23 in gematria. You know what I'm saying? Now we go back. Now let's go back for 1 second, right? So Kevin Samuels in gematria equals 203. You know what I mean? And Francis Bacon. Now I told you that zero is obsolete, so that makes it a 23 again. So you see this. So all these connections is here. You know, this is a Beltane ritual sacrifice. And just like I was saying about, you know, ritual sacrifice of the fool king for a day, and prominent figures in society, or people or things that are valuable to society that are sacrificed um for to draw power from. You know what I mean? The sacrificers draw power from sacrifice. You know what I'm saying? So this is the type of things that they do, and they match up all of these numbers. You know, Then you see Kevin Samuels. My fault. Beltane equals 59 and 402. So 59 and 42. So for them to sacrifice a black man for Beltane, it's quite fitting. If you can see that correlation there. You know what I'm saying? So this is how they get down. This is how they always gotten down. You know, this ain't nothing new. You know what I'm saying? It's all ritual sacrifice. You know, again, how many times is a coincidence possible before it's mathematically impossible? You know, this is not just a fluke. You know, I got hundreds of videos about this shit. And I'm not even the only person making videos about this. I remember somebody told me that. You know, there's a lot of people that's making videos and dropping knowledge from this perspective. But a lot of times people don't have additional knowledge to put it all together. They see the numbers and they can, anybody can like compare numbers and match up numbers, but they might not necessarily know what these numbers mean and what they're in reference to. You know what I'm saying? So, I just wanted to, touch base with the people, let y'all know, that, who and what is doing what, and how they doing it. You know what I'm saying? You know, I want to double back. Let me see if I can double back, give some bonus shit. You know, I'm pretty much done with that. But I'm gonna keep this short, under an hour. You know what I mean? Because if I don't, I'm gonna get chopped. You know. But the Dave Chappelle situation. I wanted to talk about that shit as I close out this. You know what I'm saying? So the Dave Chappelle situation. Let me see if I can get it up here. Um, I know I got a slide or something. All right, I'm gonna run through this slide right here real quick, and I'm gonna find my little gematria on Dave Chappelle. You know what I mean? And yeah, so yeah, I'm gonna talk about that real quick. So, all right, the Dave Chappelle situation, right? Dave Chappelle, he obviously he got tackled or whatever, right? You know what I'm saying? And a lot of y'all, then you see Chris Rock come out, and it's like a lot of y'all just like it's like how y'all don't see the gimmick here. You know what I'm saying? So, all right, whether dude got stumped out, beat up, whatever, that's regardless of the fact, because there's people out here that will get paid to take an ass whooping. Right now, if somebody told you, yo, well, I'll pay you 100,000, you know, to get beat up on stage or whatever. You know what I mean? Because that 100,000 that they're gonna pay you, they're gonna make that and plus then some just off of the press and all of the ticket sales and the stories and shit that they can tell about it. You know what I'm saying? So just like the Will Smith shit is bullshit, fake distraction shit, to keep you distracted from bullshit. You know what I mean? So while these motherfuckers is doing ritual sacrifice and all the other crazy shit that they're doing in the news, giving away billions of dollars, you know, the president of Ukraine, aka Joe Biden, you know what I mean? He's like, doing more for Ukrainians than he's doing for Americans. Got us struggling and all this shit, and he giving away billions of dollars to these people to make sure they get blow vitted up and make sure they visit the Poconos, right? Kicking Haitians out the country and bringing in Ukrainians, right? All of the weird bills and shit that they passing, and all of this shit that's going up, and how they tuning up these towers and all this other shit, trying to get this frequency ready to have people acting all crazy, right? You ain't paying attention to that. You worried about who slapped who and who tackled who, and so these people is just doing it. They just doing this shit to you over and over again, man. They a part of the gimmick, man. They a part of the act. You know, we love Dave Chappelle, but you know what I'm saying. But at the end of the day, these people are part of a guild. They're part of the Actors Guild, so they're gonna be of service when they have to be. You know what I'm saying? So let me go through this slide real quick because I got some Dave Chappelle shit right here. So all right, let's go back. Here we go. So Dave Chappelle equals 42. You know what I mean? Annie equals 47. Negative stamp on black people. Not a coincidence. Annie's 59. You know what I'm saying? So Dave Chappelle has the 59 and 42. Now, of course, I can see people saying, hey, well, you spelled it wrong. You know, I spelled it like that intentionally. You know what I'm saying? Now, just to kind of show you that how this thing can be, misconstrued sometimes, and not necessarily misconstrued, but encoded. You know what I'm saying? So this is the Dave Chappelle uh, um, spelling that we're familiar with right here, and Dave Chappelle equals uh, 110, which can also be looked at as 11, right there, 56. Now think about this. The story that was trending was the Dave Chappelle story. Right before this Kevin Samuels shit knocked it out the box. So the Beltane ritual, or part of this whole thing happened with Dave Chappelle, happened during the Beltane ritual. You know what I'm saying? Then you see he has a connection with, obviously, with Kevin Samuels here. You know what I'm saying? Because his name equals 74, just like Kevin Samuels. So it's probably some other more connections up here. Let's see if we can go back. Hold up. I want to go back to Dave Chappelle. What's the name? Kevin Samuels. Okay. So just keep a record of some of these numbers, that we covered. Kevin Samuels has the 110 connection, right? Right. Dave Chappelle has a 110 connection. They got that 56 connection and that 74 connection. You know what I mean? And there's probably something else right there, but I'm not seeing it right now. But y'all probably see it. And shout out to you if you saw it. So what's this right here? Hold on, let's get this off the screen real quick. Uh Shout out to Pope and ENT. You know what I mean? That was my man video. You know what I mean? Smacking them niggas in their head, dumb. What do you say? Super hard, dumb slaps or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. You know what I mean? Let's get it. So, all right, Dave Chappelle. So this is numbers again right here. So Dave Chappelle, 142. You know what I mean? And again, 42 times 1 is 42. So you know, and the 61. You know, say Dave Chappelle equals 61, just like Kevin Samuels. So I knew it was some other video, some other video. So I knew it was some other connections up there with this brother. You know what I'm saying? So you see, of course, they say that he died at 56. So this slide is, I think it's basically all of the same stuff that we just went over. You know, but yeah, pretty much. You know, so we got the police report right here. You know what I'm saying? Now let me take my little drawing off real quick for this. So we got the police report right here, so y'all can just look at that real quick. Now you see right at the bottom it says the Grady bus, the 741 bus. You know what I'm saying? 741, right there. Bus 741, right? So remember, Kevin Samuels equals 147, and the 741 bus came and picked him up. You know what I'm saying? If that's a coincidence, how many times is a coincidence possible before it's mathematically impossible? You know what I'm saying? And I'm pretty sure that, some of these shout out to the shade room too. You know what I'm saying? I'm pretty sure that some of these names right here it got some connections as well, which we can just discuss, at a later time. You know what I mean? Because we approaching that hour mark where, I gotta tap out, because Instagram only allow you to go for an hour. You know what I mean? But you know, the Dave Chappelle story was the story, of topic, and they said that, the brother oh shit, I had almost got shit twisted up because I was thinking about my next thing. So the Dave Chappelle story was the lead story, and then the Kevin Samuels story came and knocked that out and then that became the lead story. But both of those stories got a connection with the numbers. You know what I'm saying? You know, men lie, women lie, but numbers can be manipulated. I would say it like that. You know what I mean? So what we got right here? What is this
Asked,
here?
is there any way possible that this is not true?
No,
This
I
is
have
100%
family confirmation.
okay.
I got family
Well,
confirmation. This is 100%. The funeral most likely is going to be in Oklahoma City. I got family confirmation.
Mm,
okay.
mm. God damn. Now y'all see the shit right there. Let me blow it up a little bit more for you. Y'all see the date right there. 8:42, right? Now, this was uploaded at 8:42, right? Now, of course, four times two is 8, right? Exactly. You know what I'm saying? 4 and 4 is 8. So 8:42, that stamp right there is not a coincidence. Now, again, this is before the family. This is before the family confirmed the death. And she got confirmation from the family, but the family didn't know about it until they heard it on TV. Somebody lying. The fix is in. You know what I'm saying? So I got one more video that I want to go over before I close this out. Let me pull this up real quick. Hold on. One more before we close this out. Now this video was kind of annoying, and you might find it annoying as well. But I'm gonna try to expedite the situation, and especially for the lack of time that we got right here. We got 8 minutes.
Hero. Boy, that nigga that bad motherfucker. Yeah. Now that's the way, goddammit. If you go, this how you go, nigga. Shit, rest you nigga bullshitting. Yeah, goddammit. Say, boy, this is mother say, man, Kevin Samuel, my new motherfucking hero. I just found out how he died. Get on back, motherfucker. Yeah, I just found out how Kevin Samuels died. He's my new motherfucking hero. Boy, I ain't bullshit. I ain't bullshit. That nigga, boy, that nigga my new motherfucking hero. Say, man, I don't know nothing about what you niggas talking about. Man, I just found out. Say, listen, I just found out how Kevin Samuels died, y'all. On top
Listen
of
to
her.
this dumb shit.
Say,
Listen
boy.
to this dumb shit.
Say, boy, that nigga just, oh, man. Say,
It's like one of them Facebook videos where they make you
say,
watch
I'm
some
talking about, boy,
dumbass
this
concoction
is
and
a
shit.
day and a celebration. Say, listen to me. Say, y'all hear me out. Man, hold on, y'all. I got to get over here and talk to y'all. Say, listen, man, this is a day and a motherfucking celebration for all motherfucking players, Max, and everything. Listen to me, man. Say,
See?
every
See the
nigga in
bullshit?
America going forward. I know Mexican got Cinco de Mayo. But May 5th going forward, nigga, is a national players holiday for all motherfucking players, nigga, on behalf of Kevin Samuel. He laid down the blueprint. He laid down the format. He the first nigga in our modern day time come through checking bitches and correcting hoes, and he done it on a
See?
national
See the dumb
platform.
shit?
Now peep game, right? Now they finna try to make the man look bad. The man wasn't married. Y'all tried to say he was gay. He wasn't found in no hotel room high fucking on the pump. No, man, my nigga died on top of a hoe, man. Yeah, my nigga died fucking. What? Look, my nigga died like the nigga in Colors without the bullet shot. Oh, boy, that nigga my hero, God. Say, nigga, I might get a Kevin Samuels tattoo. Like how them niggas got the Young Dolph tattoos, the Nipsey
Dumb as
Hussle
shit.
tattoo. I'm coming with the Kevin Samuels tattoo. I vow to never put a nigga name on my body, nigga, but you got to go on me, nigga. Oh, say I got a new hero. Y'all niggas like Muhammad Ali, but I think the baddest nigga since Ali might be Kevin Samuel. Pop, pop, pop. Oh, let's say, I just found out how my nigga died.
Listen,
Oh,
I can't take much of this. Are we done? Are we done?
boy, listen.
Listen, this dude is
That
getting on my
nigga talking
nerves.
about dying like that nigga on Colors and they came in. Now, Kevin Samuels, you the greatest, nigga. Say, nigga, you better than Hugh
But this is
Hefner.
the ignorance out
Hugh
here.
Hefner had to put a bunch of holes
You
around him.
know, they
Say,
don't off
all my
people
nigga
like this.
did was just cut on the camera and holes
See what I'm
flopped
saying?
to him.
They don't
The
off people like
baddest
this. They
nigga
off
say,
people who speak intelligent,
oh
who do
man,
right
say
by
man,
the community, who
say
try to help
we
mend
just got the
relationships.
report.
You
My
know?
nigga was in the hotel with the broad or wherever they was. He was doing good night for
Or
last.
whatever they were.
My nigga was jumping. 9 times out of 10, man. He probably had the dick enhancement. We all do it, ladies. We all do it.
See
Yes,
how it
yeah,
was the
we all
benefit,
do it.
man.
My
These is the
nigga
people that
probably
come and speak at your funeral and
work
talk dumb shit.
overworked himself. You know how we do it, fella. And boy, we be lay back there, that motherfucker heartbeat. We can't tell the bitch. They
Listen,
say
I
my
can't
nigga
take much
rolled
more
over
of
for
this shit.
one more session. Say rolled over for one more session.
Listen, I can't take no much more of that, man. I'm done with that shit, man. Y'all get the point, man. I say peace and benedictions. Only you prevent cognitive dissonance, and we out.